Hello and welcome to using Expression Engine to create, edit entries, and add an image to an entry. I'm going to begin by publishing a new entry. I'm going to go up in the left-hand corner of the screen and hover over the Publish button and click on the word Programs. Publishing a resource is very similar, so we're just going to go through publishing a program right now. So the first time you begin to publish an entry, you'll see this unsaved draft notice, which basically says that you need to save and close before you can continue editing to add files and images and things like that. So we'll add a title first. You can see when I'm adding the title in the title text box that right below it in the URL title text box, it is populating the same information. If you have a really long title, you might want to go down to your URL and take some of the words away, or maybe even change it. Make sure you keep the underscores where they are, or add your own underscores. But if you have a really long title, you might want to shorten up your URL, that making the URL you might share with someone a little bit shorter. So here we can see, you can see a space to add a program image. We'll get back to that in a second. But before we can, we have to click Save and Close. So we go Save and Close, and here's a little view entry screen. To get back to the entry, I can say Edit this entry, and there's the name of it that I gave it, Sample Program Entry 1. So now it's just considered a draft. So you'd think to add an image that you would click on this Add Image file, but when you do, this window pops up. So we're going to simply click OK and go about it a little bit different way. So along the toolbar there is a Insert Edit Image button. I'm going to click on the Insert Edit Image button. And here we have to fill in some information, but first we have to go create a folder. So I'm going to click on the Browse button. And you only have to do this the first time for an entry. Once you create a folder for it, then there's a place for it to hold information. So in this screen, I'm going to go up to the Create Folder button. And I click on that, and I give the folder a name. Here you want to make sure that the name doesn't have any spaces, or if you do have spaces, you have an underscore or a slash to go between words. You can just run words right next to each other. Having spaces, again, makes the URL kind of long, so we want to not put spaces in if we can. And name it something interesting, or something that has to do with the entry. Here I named it Sample Program Entry Images. Something that makes sense. So I click on the folder, it pops up down there first. Now I can see that I'm in its path by looking up there under Selected Folder. Now I'm going to click the Upload button to upload an image into this folder. And here I'm going to click Choose Files. And it's going to go to my computer and ask me to find a location where I have a file. And here's an image that I want to insert. MSU serve save PowerPoint slide as image. And I'm going to choose this image right here. It's a JPEG image. PNG, PNG, and JPEGs are fine. JPEGs are usually a little better because they're a little smaller. So here we can see it's been populated in there, but I have to upload it to the server, so I click on the Upload to Server button. If I wanted to add more images, I could click on that Add More Images link. And it's successful once it comes up here. So if I double click on it, now I have to put a little more information about it. I'm going to give it an image description. The image description is for screen readers, so if somebody is using a screen reader for accessibility on the site, it will read what this picture is for somebody who might not be able to see the image. And so you want to describe it, make it something that is descriptive for the image. Here I said image of a PowerPoint slide. Could have been a little more descriptive, but it wasn't. And here we can align the image, so we have lots of places. Usually you're probably going to choose left or right. So you either want it on the right side of the page or the left side of the page. So the ones are a little tricky. We'll probably leave it there. And then we're going to change its dimensions. And we have to make sure that we follow the rule of a 4:3 aspect ratio. So that means I'm going to try 400 to 300, 400 times 300. And I'm going to leave the border blank, and I'm going to give it some vertical space, which is the space above and below the image, and some horizontal space, which is the space side to side of the image. So here you can see my image loaded up on the right-hand side where I picked. Before we move on, I'm going to do one more piece of editing. If I click on this edit button again, I'm going here and change some things. I'm going to give it a border this time of 1. And I'm going to reduce the size even a little bit more. So this time I'm going 300 by 200. I'm going to say update. So I got a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit nicer, not quite so big as it was before. I don't want it to overtake the whole page. And so then I can start typing. You'll see that my text, as I get close to the image, will wrap around and continue on the next line. It's giving me that 5 pixels of space between the words and the image. That's what the horizontal space was. And so I can continue to type. And let's edit it one more time and put it over on the left-hand side so we can see that we can move it if we want to. So I'm going to go ahead and click on left this time for the alignment and update, and you can see that it moved over to the left-hand side. Now I think I have a little bit too much vertical space above my image, so I'm going to edit that. I'm going to say my vertical space, I'm going to give it a 0, I think. Yep. And here you can see I made the horizontal space 20. That's a little bit more space between the words. And now you can see that I upped the border as well, so I have a little bit thicker border, so that makes the image stand out a little better. You might not need a border, but you might just want to keep going back and forth and kind of look at how things look. And if I click Save and Close, I go back here and see that little preview that I saw before, but now there's stuff in there, so you can see the image holder is here. The image isn't showing up, but that's okay. It's just showing me that's where it's being held. And there's my words that I'd typed, so there's kind of a little rough preview of what's going on. I'm going to go back to edit this entry. And now to submit it for approval so someone can check it out and maybe post it for me, go up here in the right hand, click on Submit for Approval. Thank you for watching today. For more resources on using Expression Engine, please visit the website below.